Gents, this move to the downside is not yet over. Let's get into the charts. Welcome back to Max Trades Crypto. Today we're going to be going over 2 of our 4-hour scenarios on the chart. But before we get into the video, do like and subscribe and join the Discord channel down below to get updates every single day. So, starting on our first scenario, right? For this type of chart, I'm going to be using Coinbase today, not Binance like we normally do, or not Bybit like we normally do. The reason being is on Coinbase, this wick towards the downside in that massive crash that we saw on the Friday of 10th of October ended up being not a wick all the way down to 102, which distorted quite a few charts. So I'm going to be doing this as this wave 3 to the downside looks relatively normal. So on the 4-hourly time frame, what are we currently looking at? We're looking at an ABC, in my opinion, on our main scenario, right? An ABC to the downside means that we have a 3-wave structure in A, a 3-wave structure in B that took out the high of A. This is called an expanded flat. And then a 5-wave structure to the downside in wave C. Right? So looking at this currently, we have a wave C to the downside that is possibly not yet finished. Maybe it is. Maybe we did form the low at $103,000, but I don't think it is yet finished. So if we then break down what this wave 3 or what this wave C is we are looking at a multi 1-2. Now, how we count a multi 1-2 is instead of just a 5-wave structure to the upside like this, we can count that there is a 5-wave structure in wave C, in wave 3, right? Don't know why I'm getting my C's and 3's mixed up today. But if we look, we can count it something like this, where we have a big move towards the upside after a bunch of little moves towards the upside. So we have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then a big breakout in 3, a 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, just like this, right? So if we count it on the chart currently, we can see here that we had multiple 1-2, 1-2. At the moment, I'm counting this as a double 2, not a triple. You can count it as a triple, a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, right? But at the moment, a double 1-2 looks like it works fine. So after the double 1-2, we had this big wave 3 move to the downside, followed by a 4, 5, 4, and now we are possibly seeing the start of a wave 5, right? The last wave 5 in the structure before we turn around and put in new highs, right? So if we look at this now, we can see that these structures towards the upside, we can actually go on a 1-hourly candle. The structures towards the upside, a lot of people were saying, oh, what if this is a possible multi 1-2? So we have finished then the corrective structure here, or the downward structure here, and we now are looking for 1-2s towards the upside. This, I said, was not a move towards the upside, and we can see just in the sense of volume didn't come in this supposed wave 3, and now we are seeing a move to the downside. So if we see possibly counting this as a 1-2, 1-2, and then looking for a greater move up, but the volume was just nowhere to be seen, right? So that just means that be careful and wary of a corrective structure. And what do we know? The move down did indeed occur. At the moment on the 1 hour, we can see here that we are possibly putting in a 5-wave structure to the downside, something along the lines of a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, followed by a 2, and then we might head a lot lower, right? That is what I see at the moment on the chart in completing this last wave 5 move, right? If we look at targets for this wave 5 move, we can see here that the target for the wave C is often in an expanded flat, the 1.38 to the 1.618, which sits at 102,403 to 98,265. Be also very careful of something along the lines of this, where we end up having a shorter wave 5, still taking the low, but a shorter wave 5. So just following the trend line patterns. Then the target for the wave 5 on this chart sits at the 0.618 at $97,745. Right? This is our main scenario on the chart, and followed by this, we should get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 towards the upside. So this is what I see on the larger term time frame now on our main scenario. Then if we go back to our old chart and see, you can see here the wick is just absolutely ridiculous. This is heavy market manipulation, but yeah, compared to every other chart, this one just looked the worst, right? So if we do go to our second scenario at the moment, we are looking at a possible WXY, still a corrective structure, still more lows to come, right? Where we have a W, an X, and a wave Y to the downside, where this is then a B, and a wave C. Instead of a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, we have an A B, and a wave C. Inside this wave C, we would then have a ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where everything is 3 wave structures, 1, 2, 3 here, 4, and wave 5, finishing this, taking out this low, and then we are moving around towards the upside. This is also very, very similar targets, right? Very, very similar targets to what we are looking at on our main scenario. So don't be too wary, but just know that we are possibly heading for lower prices, right? That is our main 2 scenarios on the chart. Now, just looking on a trend lines perspective on our 4-hour scenario, we are still, actually we can go to the daily, we are still looking at these trend lines possibly being touched, right? This one to the downside has not yet been touched in a while. This one here, we can see that this trend line has been followed but not been touched yet, and touching that trend line possibly for our last move towards the upside at around the $98,000 level would be quite a cool area to then move towards the upside off of, right? So that is quite a cool one to be looking out for. Then the other trend line that is our main one at the moment is this one, where we have 3 touches at the moment. We've touched it again, and now we are possibly looking for a breakdown of this towards this area here. We have 1 trend line to the upside, 1 towards the downside. These converging trend lines looks for a very, very cool target for this move down, touching and then blasting off from there, right? Possibly targeting the top of this trend line here, the one that we have been following for a while at around that $170,000 region, but that's only if we get all the way up there, right? A blow off top could indeed happen where we have one last push in a wave 5 towards the upside, but that is just speculation at the moment. Then for trade possibilities on our main scenario, right? On the 4-hourly time frame, I would long from the bottom of this wave 5 here, this wave C. So I would long at about $97,000 region over here. You can start putting in longs as we move lower down, and then slowly filtering out more and more as we move lower, right? I always say trade in a form of a triangle, right? Where if you know the move is going to go from around $103,000 to $98,000, if you put small entries in at the high of this area, and then larger entries as you go lower, larger, until you have your full position, let's say at 99 that was hit. And then for price to turn around, you have an average price. If price ends up turning around at $101,000 and you are waiting for that $99,000, then you end up not having any position at all. But instead, if you invest slowly, then you can have a larger position towards the upside. So that is what I see currently on the chart as our 4-hourly trade. But guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been Max Trades Crypto. Do please join the Discord down below to get updates every single day. But it's been Max Trades Crypto. Cheers, guys.